Right.
You get killed for wearing blue. You
Right.
get killed for being a Native American woman. You get killed for being a Black American man. You get killed for being an African person. You get killed for being an Asian person. You get killed for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
Right. But no one community is more important than the next.
Right.
I hate hearing, I strongly dislike hearing when Black people talk about their problems in comparison to white people or comparison to Mexican people. I hate hearing it. If we're all for peace, equality, and giving the other person respect, it shouldn't matter what ethnicity you are, what gender you claim, what economic status you have. You're important because you are a human being.
You're a person, yeah. Tis I, Just Henry, the original, once again, and I'm here with my good cousin. What's your name, bro? Tell people your name.
It is Wiz Reads Wise in the flesh. I gotta remember to talking to the mic. How y'all doing, good people? Hopefully y'all feeling better than me. Your boy is up for like 28 hours now. The grind never stops. What we got going on today?
Slide it this way, just about 2 inches, bro. About 2 inches that way.
Slide to the right.
That's one.
Slide to the right.
Now
Aye.
you in frame a little bit. And man, you never see. Do you understand? I love that kind of humor, dog. You don't even think you're funny, but at the same time, you're like, man, it's just what it is.
It is.
I'm over here dying.
It is. It's always good, man. Positive outlook, keep a smile on your face.
Goodness.
I try to keep them both.
Well, let's finish the welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the umpteenth view.
It is the umpteenth view in the flesh.
Yeah, man. I'm having a fantastic time, especially looking back over our videos.
That's the best. Like when you gonna watch it and just laugh.
I
forgot to show you the clip because what happened was we had a clip when I was talking about. Remember, he was like, "Cuz." I had said I was like, "I'm gonna show him."
Yeah,
but I forgot. We started recording.
No worries. We'll do that.
He will see it. It is. I think it's Avion Crockett at his best. It's good, man.
Marvelous.
But
marvelous.
We digress. What we got planned for y'all today is something special. Everybody and their mama and their cousin Joe talking about it. And for lack of a better phrase, we're talking about Dave Chapelle and his criticism, emphasis on criticism, because that's what it is about the transgender community.
Yeah.
To be specific, LGBTQ plus I don't know the rest of it.
That's all you need to do.
That's not
good.
true.
No, they say you have to do more.
Yeah, that's not true.
Did you write it down?
I actually work with I'm not writing that down. I actually work with an advocate for inclusions.
Okay.
And that's not true.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you say it like it is. And it's causing a lot of airport because some people aren't responding well to it because they don't know, they keep adding to it. Just like I've seen. We're not gonna digress. We're talking about the closer and Dave Chappelle's criticism, but it's kind of crazy how it's turning out.
What you're talking about?
Yeah, it is, but it's a conversation in his whole mind. Like I said, knowing about the Dave Chappelle thing and seeing the criticism, and I'm trying to figure out what it was because after I watched it, I was like, you clearly couldn't have seen the same thing I saw.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to them again after I watched it a second time, and I was just like, I am always open to people's perspectives and opinions, and I'm never gonna like boo on you for it. I'm gonna maybe possibly disagree respectfully, but I'm not gonna tell you you're a bad person for what you say. Now, the only thing that I have fault with the whole thing is the cancel culture aspect of it.
Cancel culture is wrong.
As in we the collective have chosen to get rid of you. And I'm like, how do you get that power so quick, right?
It's Nazism.
So easy, right?
It's Nazism.
So
it's Nazism.
But
that's what it is.
But we're supposed to be away from that, right? We're supposed to be the land of the free and the brave, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Then why is it happening? It's Nazism at its finest.
Because they hold and they know no consequence when it's on the interwebs. There's no consequence for your words or anything of that nature, especially, not your words are yours, but I'm talking about what you're trying to infringe and impose. And that's where not everyone, excuse me, that's where some people have an issue. Dave Chapelle, in short, basically, he literally took the term and said, "This is my magnum opus in response to this subject matter." He said, "I'm closing the door." He literally started the whole stand up, the whole special, saying, "Guess what? This is all I'm saying about this. This is it, guys. This is it. So get your pen, like basically get your pens and notepads and everything ready." I was quite enthralled. Do you have anything you want to jump in?
So, well, I mean, because I don't disagree with anything you're saying, and so it's fine.
Just setting us up. We're just warming up.
Because for the most part, this would just be a discussion about something that's already happened. Just adding two new perspectives to the umpteenth perspective. You see what I did there?
That is brilliant.
So, in some, I don't think this stand-up was funnier than the previous.
No.
I don't think he intended it to be as funny as the previous because he's clearly hurt. He, like, from the start, you can clearly see I watched it twice. The first time was indulgent, the second time was to think about it more critically. And he was clearly hurt. It's Daphne, I believe that was the transgender woman's name, right? Your community is supposed to be inclusive, but you harass someone and kill them because they endorse Dave Chappelle's criticism. Name a community that's around now that hasn't been criticized. Name a community that no one wants to talk about because they're fearful of being canceled.
Am I allowed to say it? I'm just joking. No, I mean, it's crazy to have to think that we have to walk on eggshells to this level now and fear anything. Like, it makes no sense to have to walk or do anything that you're interested in and fear repercussion, especially the whole stepping on, so to speak, allegedly stepping on people's freedom of speech, therefore limiting freedom of speech, therefore saying it's not existent. It's what we say. It's what the powerful say you're allowed to say. That's where there's a lot of heat going on because of that. What do they call it? The corporate influence, the corporate plan to be able to say that, guess what? We're either gonna utilize the positive spin or negative spin on anything, mainly, and let's make this money, right? But it's people's lives and livelihoods that are at stake. So why is it so easy to make people feel uncomfortable in the midst of their craft? That's where
I think
that's where we are trying to get to the bottom of it.
I think here's the beef, right? Here's the beef. And Dave Chappelle spoke about it before, right? He said he's not because he talks about, I don't know if you've seen the bit where he did a show, I think in Detroit. Maybe it was in Detroit. It's more recent, and he talks about how after The Closer came out, film festivals had canceled them. They just canceled them. They signed up and stuff like that.
Like,
and so he was like, so when he was talking about the baby and his homophobic remarks, which is deeply ingrained in the culture, and so they canceled him for saying homophobic remarks. But all the time he's talking about beating people up and hurting his community and all that stuff, you endorse it? How are you selecting which community is more important than the next? Because every time I've heard a transgender advocate, let me change that. Not a transgender advocate, because if you're an advocate for people's rights, human rights, as I am, then you mess with it. I don't like group identity. We've talked about that before.
I hate it.
So, how do you? Yeah, you gotta stress that a transgender person is okay. The alphabet people, not so much. you gotta stress that. You gotta stress that.
Where is the line? We don't want to get to that. I don't know.
But that's me. And we all come to soon find out. I don't like most organized groups for instances like Daphne,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
This group she spoke against the group, and the group harassed, and she called herself to kill herself. And you often hear transgender radicals say, "Oh, our community is being harassed by cisgender people." No one defended Daphne from the group, though, right? There's even a video of one of the Netflix leaders by Comedy Hype uploaded a video, and they're talking about that woman. Have you seen it?
Yeah, saw that one.
And she was literally harassing Asian people.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Are you
going
kidding?
on, man. There's a lot going on. It's
Kevin
like
Hart.
Here, the word I like to use in this instance is convenience. It is convenient.
That's good. That's good. That's a good way to
certain opportunities to be certain ways, and there's a lot of people that are taking more advantage than they really have room for, and it's becoming a detriment to not only the people that they're against, but just like the system, just the way we are trying to live as a society. This is taking civilization and making it uncivilized. This is making it confusing. You're adding confusion to what should be in order, and therefore, it's just what level are you really trying to take this to? My thing is if it's influencing my home, then I can speak up about it. If it's influencing my job, I can speak up about it. Therefore, that's why I think Dave Chapelle has a platform to be able to speak up about it, because you're threatening the man's job, his livelihood, because you don't like what he's saying. I swear the power button works. I swear.
I think it's two paths for me, right? I think because if it's a private institution, right, they can dictate how you speak in regards to company grounds. But in regards to like Dave Chapelle and the aspect of comedy, like I said, his sole purpose, his sole career, most comedians' career, you talk about marginalized and tough situations. You bring light to these bad situations.
Yeah.
This has been happening for decades.
Especially with comedians, you're right.
Right. And so now you can't talk about one community because supposedly they are being more attacked than any other marginalized community, which numerically, statistically doesn't even begin to add up or make sense. Yeah. Right? There are tons of, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get it wrong, right? There are countries, y'all know where y'all are, where they are getting you for coming out and expressing yourself in a way that's not normal. There are communities there, but that's not in the States.
Right.
That's not to say that there are monsters in the States who are going and preying on you, but there are monsters in the States who go and prey on anybody for any reason for whatsoever. Right. You get killed for wearing blue. You get killed for being a Native American woman. You get killed for being a Black American man. You get killed for being an African person. You get killed for being an Asian person. You get killed for a multitude of reasons. Yeah. Right. But no one community is more important than the next.
Right.
I hate hearing, I strongly dislike hearing when Black people talk about their problems in comparison to white people or comparison to Mexican people. I hate hearing it. If we're all for peace, equality, and giving the other person respect, it shouldn't matter what ethnicity you are, what gender you claim, what economic status you have. You're important because you are a human being.
You're a person, yes.
But that's not the case. And I think the closer shows that. Yes. Dave Chapelle literally didn't speak bad against them. He didn't. No. He really didn't.
No. He said he brought in, it's almost like a proper newscast where you brought in certain stories that you're not breaking the format of truth or anything to the context of where it's used and how it's used to be able to get your point across. Because he didn't twist anything. And therefore, I was even impressed with how many celebrities came and backed him up, especially the transgender comedian. I don't know her name. I forgot her name, but
Flame.
I think so.
Yeah.
She's
on Breakfast Club a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Flame. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And came out and was really like, first off, I need y'all to understand, this is a comedian safe space. Like we should be able to say what we want, how we want, the way we want, to be able to feed our constituents, our audience. Anybody else that doesn't want to go to it or be a part of it, don't go. Don't be a part of it. Like, I'm still amazed at the fact that you know Dave Chapelle and you still watch. Like, it was like you jumped head first into what you wanted as far as to say, you know what, I need ammunition for a fight. And that's where I'm like, I mean, it doesn't make sense to look for a fight, especially with somebody that wants one. I really think he wanted all the smoke.
I'm happy he did, right?
Because
he knows people like myself get frustrated with this stupidity. Correct. Right? He knows it, and he, like he said, I think at the beginning of the video, he's like, "I'm rich." Yes. he jokes about the corona, and that's the thing. Like this one of his first jokes was the coronavirus. It's like, I caught it. Yeah. I'm fine, but the news was telling you everybody was dying from it, and he joked about that. And you couldn't even
shots of the COVID,
bro. you couldn't even speak against the Rona. You couldn't, bro.
The Rona.
You couldn't. Like, YouTube was talking about it. Yes. They censor people.
Yeah.
The news censor people. Yeah. Social media censor people.
Yeah. That's funny,
bro.
And now it's common. Like,
but the difference is he was rich.
Yes.
And so he could take all the smoke. He could take it, and I think most people are gonna stand with him. And I love that he's not apologizing for it.
I ain't making no money from that, so hide that.
That's fair, man. It's one of those things where
I think it was brilliant, bro. I really think that, dog, the way he set us up from the beginning of the whole, straight up, because he set us up. He told us basically where he was going with this. So my loving moment was when he's been ridiculed for the comment at the end about Daphne, when he was saying, like, when her daughter is 21, gonna go to her and say,
"I knew your father.
I knew your father." And what was the last part? He was a great.
He said something. Like, I knew your father. Something. He was a bad B word.
So, nonetheless, I don't want to misquote. It's just the fact that you could see he was really. I think he was really, like, emotional in this moment. Like,
he was hurt from the comment, bro. If you look at the energy in the one before it and this one, he was trying not to snap.
Yeah, his demeanor was.
Yeah, it was hurt, and that person was a friend. You could tell, right? So
close. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking to be able to have an intimate knowledge of someone that supposed to be against you, that has been endeared to you, and now guess what? You guys are friends, and now your friend is gone. God rest the dead, because they couldn't handle the load that their own community was given.
He recalled.
And that made no sense to me. It broke my heart, actually. At that moment, it
was consistent, because the second time I didn't really get it. I mean, the first time I didn't really appreciate it as much. The second time watching the video, he tells a time where Daphne snaps on him when she remember he's talking about her stand up, and she was like, she's like, I just want you to notice.
I just want you to believe that I'm having a human experience.
Exactly, and so he didn't take that from her. The community in which she was a part of took that from her.
Yeah. I'm here to be able to advocate for his tactics, because he even mentioned the fact that after her horrible set, she sat in front and made sure that she didn't feel like shunned. Next thing you know, I'm not gonna crap on you in my set. I'm not gonna crap on you in the noise you're making. Man, I'm gonna play off it because I'm a pro. And next thing you know, the conversation that happened made the whole set and turned it into a whole nother thing, to where it's like we're educating our constituents now. All the people that were paying all this money to come see Dave Chapelle say some wild stuff are now learning, and they're growing. And this is the community that we need to be able to enrich. And I don't think it's going to be soon that people are going to really appreciate this. I think it's going to take some time. I think that we may have to take a moment, take a breather, and then all recommune. I like the way he said in the newer video where he was saying that he was being beckoned But then he said he's not afraid of having a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh yeah, we can have a meeting, but I got some demands. Well, I got some conditions. That's what he used, conditions. I got some conditions. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, of course, I can appreciate that more so. He's rich, you know, so he can do what he wants that way. But at the same time, you're a man. Like being a man in your own space, being able to stand firm, be able to say, you know what, you're coming to me for something. And I want to be able to feel comfortable in this moment, because I don't want you to think that I'm offensive. I'm not trying to offend you. I want to commune with you. Let's break bread, you know? And I think that welcoming vibe from him, I think that's perfect. I think we need to really take heed to that. We need to be able to say that, guess what? He's making sure that all sides are heard, or in a space to be able to be heard. Like, come on, just talk, just speak, but speak in a manner that's not imposed. Like, just like you're gonna listen to what I say, and you're gonna listen, and you're gonna
like they the judge, jury,
you're gonna do what I say the way I say it. And I'm like, oh, come on, because I'm not gonna make you do that to me. I'm gonna say my name. I'm gonna say my pronouns. I guess I really don't care. Like, long as you don't talk me down, long as you speak down to me.
I think that's
who is it? Punch down?
Yep.
Ooh, don't punch down on my people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dave Chapelle said it in regards to
Daphne.
No, to himself. He was Daphne said it first,
gave
him the second reference to learn what that meant. Because he didn't understand what it meant the first time he heard it.
Right.
Daphne said it, and in the midst of teaching him, like, look, just believe I'm having this human experience. And then the next thing with the punch down was him saying it at the end. Don't punch down on me, even though I'm kind of, you know, I'm a little transphobic. And if he says that, then believe him. If you're really concerned for the humanity in him, educate him. Sit him down. Let's have a good, comfortable moment where nobody's feeling all aggressive or defensive to where we feel like I have to have security, even though it's probably gonna have security. So
that's a good segue, because I think that was one of my biggest drawbacks from the stand-up, where he says he agreed with J.K. Rowling saying gender is fact, when in fact it isn't.
Gender, why do you say it's not?
Gender is by all means prescriptive. Again, we had that discussion before. Where we're talking about when we're talking about meaning, it's the word is modern, right? Okay. And it does describe behaviors, because prior to modern English, there was no thing. There was no thing for it. And I think it's 1960s, 1970s, where this word coming in, it begins to describe behaviors. So gender is based off fact, which is biology, right? And as far as I'm concerned, most of you transgenderism radicals who seem to try to argue that biology is ambivalent when it comes to gender, it's not, right? It's not. There's male and female, right? So most transgender radicals will say there's a distinction between sex and gender. And so you should always be speaking like that. But here's the fun fact: the world's speaking descriptives, right? And we talked about this in another video where literally doesn't mean what it literally supposed to mean, right? No. And so this big old disconnect, and this
you trip me out with this literally every time, bro.
When that change happened, I was like, "Are you joking?
Yeah,
are you joking?
This is supposed to be English,
right? Like, bloody hell!" Language works in shortenings, which means that people, they don't want to say the full thing. They'll find ways to shorten it. And we see it all the time in rap music, and Twitter speak is what I call it. Like LMAFA, MBOOT.
You are.
No, and then you find folks that spell UR and they can't actually spell it out. And I'm saying this because I've sometimes I like to do like freelance work, and I'll go and revise people's papers, like
okay,
young students, like,
right?
And you can see how internet speak is affecting them.
Yeah,
right. So the world is mostly descriptive.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So one of my biggest things, like when I was learning Spanish,
120 characters or less.
One of my biggest things when I was learning Spanish, it was so difficult for me to pick up when people were speaking it, because when you put it in the classroom, you learn it formally.
Yes.
Right. But when people on the street, we don't. It's the same thing when people try to learn English as a second language. Like, bro, what? Y'all not making any sense. Yeah. And so going back to transgenderism, it's the same thing. Okay. You want the majority of the world, and I say the majority because I believe as of today, I think it's like 0.3% of the world identifies as transgender.
Say that how much?
0.3.
Okay.
And that could be, you could argue, because I've seen people argue that most people are afraid to come out. That could be the case. But I highly doubt it's not 10%. I highly doubt it's not 5% of the world, right? Because I don't think most of us are interested in the cause. Okay. I think for the most part, I think there are a lot of good people, right? And they want to be behind a cause where they make respective change.
I get you.
I think that's the best way I can put it. Respective, where people are allowed to do what they wish.
Right. Which is what we would like. It's ideal.
Especially in the States, the whole notion of the United States of America was
supposed to be
freedom.
Right.
Right. But we know that's more idealistic than practical. Right. And so I think in some, right, because we don't want to make this too long, because it's I thought I could talk about it, but I can't really talk about it without getting upset and getting in my feelings.
I get it. As well as it's one of those touchy subjects like religion and all that other stuff that people get like. But
religion ain't being imposed upon the entire world now. Historically, crusades and stuff like that, it's a big difference, right?
Missionaries are everywhere, man.
This is true, but they ain't running around.
They're not militant. You're right. They're not like forcing anyone.
Because if they were, they wouldn't have got kidnapped in Haiti. If you've seen that, that's unfortunate.
The way stories help the narrative. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But
that was good.
It's just the notion of, man.
Excuse me, not all. I don't like when I say that, but nonetheless, I love the conversations that have been happening because of this. Mainly because I'm listening to the celebrities that are supporting Dave Chapelle. I'm listening to the celebrities that are opposing Dave Chapelle. I'm listening to the things that are happening within Netflix. Netflix is setting a lot of standards right now, especially with I'll say what is it? Human. What is HR? Human resources. Between human resource type issues, and as far as in the corporate world, I'm really digging it. I'm really digging the fact that they are supporting Dave.
This is the thing, though. Like it shouldn't come down to this, right? Because it's artistic expression. At the end of it, that's what it is. You shouldn't censor books. When they did the green eggs and ham thing, that bothered me. Because it made racist propaganda. It's a book. It's information that they did it, and I'm pretty sure. I actually think they stopped publication of that book.
Yeah,
and it's
that's crazy.
I don't like censorship. Don't do it. Like, this is funny, but it's not funny. Let a transgender man. Let a transgender man come on TV shirtless like a man would. When the network start allowing that, then we can have another conversation. Let a transgender man go to a male prison and go to Gen Pop.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about y'all censoring. If you gonna believe in something, do it full hearted.
As long as they cool, you know what I'm saying? Most people aren't. I just fear for people's health, man.
It is. That's the thing.
I understand everyone wants to fight for the cause, their own cause, make sure
until the spotlight's actually on them and not no internet
until that fan get that heat, boy. Until that ish hit the fan. I'm just saying, is it worth it? Is it of any? Is making this argument of any consequence? Is it really gonna add flavor to your life? Is it really gonna make your life better? Because if making your life better costs everybody else's lives to be worse, we may need to reconvene at the negotiation table. That's all I'm saying. No? Yes? No? Was that bad or good?
No, I think again, I'm not. I thought I could talk about it clearly. It could be because I've been up for like 28 hours, but in my brain, I was the first thing that popped off is capitalism and not socialism. When you see most, they talk about it as they're socialistic, radically progressive ideas.
Yeah.
Capitalism is based off of me. So if you eating mud and I'm eating salsa and candy and all those,
want a job?
Yeah. Hey, let me come. You can come make this rapper or pick up the rappers I waste.
Right,
bro. So,
that's so funny. But this is America, and this is the lovely stories that we get to play. Who knows what, right?
Closing thoughts. Was Dave Chapelle the closer good or bad?
It was good.
Why?
Because it was effective for exactly what it was designed to do. It has done, and it is doing it. It is doing it to a whole new level that people are like, whoa, because of the sheer fact that, guess what? You can't ignore it. It is literally everywhere now. So you either we, because it's in commercials, it's in movies, it's everywhere. So therefore, let's go ahead and get that elephant taken care of as far as acknowledged, so we don't keep acting all secretive. Who knows what? Don't say that. Be careful.
And that's the thing, because people are still talking. Mm-hmm. It's where they talk about it.
And what environment, who you're around.
Right. And so while you can think you're ultimately censoring and stuff, they just find some other ways, like the big thing of inclusion in companies, which I think is important because you don't want people to be discriminated, but that doesn't stop discrimination whatsoever.
Right.
They're still doing it, right? They're still doing it.
Yeah, because it's taught at the house.
It's just how they approach the game. Like I remember I was reading Juxtaposition on Feminism 2 days ago, actually. And they were talking about women in the workplace. Okay. And they there was literal journals of women being harassed, like at account firms and things of that nature, and what their boss would say to them versus now, right? You still see it, they just approach it differently. Yeah. Because the same psyche of the man that's running the spot doesn't change. He just gets smarter, and he just gets smarter in how to disguise it, like a criminal. They adapt. That's so good. That's so good. If we wouldn't get hit with a copyright strike, I'd play it because that's really what it is, and that's what bothers me most. Like you're trying to put stuff on the surface when most of the work of the world is done underneath.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I think Dave Chapelle is brave, and I don't hear many people calling him that. Because he's speaking out against it. I respect him so much because he said he will not apologize. So he keeps his word.
I think people are really scared to support him, though. I think people are fearful of that.
I support Dave Chapelle.
They're so in fear of the transgender and LGBTQ plus and some. I am so ready to try and be politically correct, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm up for it. Like that's a lot of workout time. That's a lot of mental push-ups.
I hate censorship. What a passion. What a passion. I hate censorship. I hate it. I hate censorship so much, and I don't care if the algorithm hates me. I don't care if I hate censorship.
I get it.
There is a way of being respectful, but being honest.
That's
right?
Work.
If you're being disrespectful, that's not censorship.
True.
You're literally causing harm.
That's defamation type
yes,
of thing. Okay,
that's not the same thing. Censor if I'm being respectful and I'm expressing myself in a respectful manner, chill out. You're gonna take it as it comes. If I'm disrespectful, then you can come at me. Right. If I'm not responsible in saying, okay, what I'm saying, how could it affect groups and addressing how it may or may not.
Right.
Chill out.
Right.
It's called a conversation. Conversation is how progress literally happens. Everything starts and ends with a conversation.
Correct. Civil
rights movement, conversation. They was getting beaten on and sick and shot down by water hose.
Yeah, dogs.
Show me an instance, because I'm only doing this, right? Because a lot of radical transgender supporters, they like to compare their struggle to other marginalized communities. Show me the footage where you are being harassed by the law.
Literally.
The law. Military. Show me the footage where you are where they're coming in your house, hanging you by a tree, and the world is watching and doing nothing.
Where's cities of you getting
burned down? Pretty much demolished. Right? Show me in the States. Don't show me overseas, because that's
no different. No different overseas.
Because some of the countries actually be wild, and for that, I strongly endorse, and definitely. I wish we did more as a nation that prides itself on freedom to bring them from that, to bring them over here, because that, don't get it twisted, right? I'm trying to be as perceptive as possible. And there are some struggles that are definitely real for transgender homosexuals, bisexuals. There are some struggles that are definitely real in other cultures, right? But most of the beef comes here. That's not happening here.
Yeah. It's a struggle. But please do us a favor and put some comments. I need all sides, all parties, all
I would love
involved. That. I need perspective. I would love perspective. I want to be educated. I want to be in the know so that I can make my own decision accordingly. That's all I ask. But nonetheless, do you have anything else, Michael said? he looked like he's like, man, I just you know what?
It's really disheartening that such a thing is happening, right? And like I was this video will go on forever, bro. Like this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea.
This is a good idea.
Because like
good idea. Idea.
You're talking about a craft. We're not talking about producing a school and enabling this school of people to go out on the streets and harass and assault people, like certain humanitarian groups are actually doing. We're not talking. Dave Chapelle isn't doing that. Kevin Hart wasn't doing that.
Right.
J.K. Rowling wasn't doing that.
Right.
However, that in the UK there is a group. I forgot the acronym for it, but there's a real group that is strongly transphobic, and I think they're mostly women too.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they are strongly against them.
Yes.
Right. And I think because they take offense. So I'm a woman. I have to endure this.
You're talking about the acronym that matter of fact Dave Chapelle was saying.
Yeah, he brought it too. Yeah, I think when I watched it the first time, I looked it up and I ended up start reading about it. Like that's real, right?
It's real.
But again, we're talking overseas, and it just seems like a different culture.
They were saying, they were saying that they were comparing it to like wearing blackface as though.
I thought that was a stretch.
I think that's more of the comical side of it.
Oh, okay.
But as far as like, I don't think that's like really like accurate. It's just the fact that we can be able to get some comparison there.
Hold that. Go ahead. This is why I think the second time it really clicks. So I told you I was watching Jordan Peterson. And if you're a fan of Jordan Peterson, you probably know the video I'm talking about where he sits in a panel where all these transgender advocates. Mm-hmm. Well, there was one from the UK. She was a transgender woman, but she was conservative as crap. I don't know why they brought her on there, because she didn't side with nobody else. She was siding with Jordan Peterson all the time.
White shirt and a tie she had on? No? Keep going. Sorry.
I don't.
Eric, keep going.
You knew who? One of the women. one of the women who identified as a woman. Mm-hmm. That sounds kind of poetic and funny. I just say it.
This guy over here.
She said she compared a lot of the transgender plight to the Black American struggles, the African American struggles, the Negro struggles, however you want to prescribe that situation, right? She was doing it very frequently, and it was actually irritating me.
Yes, as it should.
Right, because not even as like a Black person, it wasn't irritating me like that. Because if I was Jewish, I'd be just as upset. Right.
Matter of fact, if I was transgender, I'd be upset, because why are you diluting my plight anyway?
Exactly. Just if your case is so strong, focus on that.
It could stand alone, like right? It could carry on like the song that never ends. Excuse me. Like the song that never ends. But this is not Lamb Chops sing along. This is the umpteenth view, where we are here for you. And we want you to tune in. Matter of fact, chime in. Let us know how you feel. Even if you think we're ridiculous, or if you think that this is useful.
I know for sure I'm ridiculous right now.
It's quite all right.
I wish I can articulate it better, but like this
likewise.
Is
I forgot all my notes at the house.
Really, okay. I didn't even take notes. I had spent so much time reading and just certain things, like again listening to Jordan Peterson, and he's talking about openness and IQ and antisocial and a bunch of masses of information. Just really prescribe the notion to say, if I don't understand it, maybe I'm not meant to, right? And again, if we're talking about respect and we're talking about disrespect, I'm all for everybody deserves respect.
Correct.
You disrespect me, that's what comes off. I'm not
chance
Jesus.
to, no
I'm not Martin
strikes.
Luther King. I'm not trying to turn the other cheek. It comes off.
Ain't no peace over here.
Period. Right? It's what it is. If you man enough to disrespect somebody, you're man enough to be disrespected.
You're man enough to get these consequences.
100%.
A and B.
So my closing thought would be, because it was a rant, and I'll put it in the title, and I'm cool with that. The closer was good. He was very effective, like he said, in what he wanted to do. It's a shame that such a non-violent approach, this criticizing the community, has received so much negativity, right? But people are still backing it. Those of you who are still brave to back and support someone being openly critical of anything, right? Yeah. It's 100%, and I always endorse that. Was it the funniest Dave Chapelle special? Absolutely not, right?
Was it powerful though?
100%. Was it good? 100%. Was it crafty? 100%. And so that needs recognition. It will be recognized for quite a while, if not eternity.
Okay, let's speak economics real quick. This is my final thought. Let's see what type of diving board this gives Dave Chapelle on his return, because my man's is not done. This is the new Richard Pryor, ladies and gentlemen. And he's not finished. And I don't think that he's gonna go back into this whole thing that the chapter he's tried to close. What I'm saying is the next, oh my goodness, I am so anxious to hear what he gets back to as far as the rest of our lovely society that can be criticized and set, in some kind of motion towards, a unified effort or some unified understanding, right? At least laugh at the joke, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been real.
I felt again. My last question, bro. My last question to you.
Carry on.
And it's actually a really good one, right? Because I had a conversation with one of my coworkers a while ago, and it just popped into my brain. Because some folks in the crowd, right? Yeah. They may ask if all jokes are funny.
No. All jokes are not funny.
Right? And so they may say his jokes weren't funny because XYZ. Here's my defense, and decide with those of you who think that, right? Because it's important to always play both sides of the field.
Correct.
Right? I don't think jokes about cancer are particularly funny.
Okay.
And that's not because I think I've lost my grandparents to cancer. I've known people who die from cancer. It's just, it's hard to imagine like cancer and genocide, right? like
how to make that light
it's
or
hard.
find
It's hard to do that, right? And we talk about imagining things. So the moment you hear certain trigger words, bam, it pops up.
That's why he's a professional.
It's so difficult. So it could be, right?
I get it.
Because we're laughing, right? We're laughing because we're making light of a situation that we don't think severe. On the other side of the shoe, they think it's so much more grave. Maybe they know someone who's in one of those countries and cultures where they are snatching you up off the street and publicly getting rid of you.
That's what I was gonna say. I think any light shed on subject matter is good light, because it needs to be known and shared, because everyone must prepare for the what if. What if you have a situation that comes to you and hits closer to home than something on television? So you would want to be prepared just a little bit, so that you're not coming across as insensitive or, just an evil person that you don't want to be, because you've chosen to be better, right? So that's all. And I think the comedic realm leaves room for that. We just need to be able to say, all right, I can dig it, or I didn't dig it. Like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. That don't mean that I'm hating. Do you have another closing thought?
No, I'm good. I promise.
You see this?
I really like that last little revelation that came to me, and I feel better about myself.
Good.
Right? Because in that way, I'm still trying to be respectful. Like I said, it just popped up to me. There's certain things I just don't find funny. Yeah, and it could be the notion of transgendered individuals or transgender advocates. They don't find funny because they probably personally know something.
Because there are some that find it hilarious. So therefore, it should be open. Like, just chill. Like, because you don't want to have somebody be on your head because you like Brussels sprouts. You don't want somebody to be angry at you because you eat disgusting, nasty Brussels sprouts. Like, what do you? And it's funny. People get mad at me when I don't eat okra. I'm like, get on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be mad. Smells fantastic.
Fried okra does smell glorious. Smells
great.
My goodness.
But as far as me just making that my favorite food, I'm like, I'll take a few. Thanks. All right. Can I get some mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese? Where's the barbecue?
I just want to put myself. I always like trying to figure out what the naysayers are thinking, right? So I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of a person who thinks it's okay to harass and criticize and talk down, punch it down upon the Asian American community.
Terrible.
Right, but think it's not okay to talk about a community I feel a part of. So I'm always just trying to put myself in that mindset. When did the world ever dislike? When did the U.S. ever dislike Asian Americans prior to World War II?
Oh,
well, no, post World War II, right? And before the Rona, like that. I think that person's comments came out prior to the Rona and post World War II, right?
Wasn't it right after George Floyd? That's when they got another wave. They got a wave there.
But then
before that, wasn't there? Let me stop. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I know.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm gonna just say that God bless everybody, because really it needs to be more love, but it's really 100%. Preparedness. So just be prepared. Look out for yourself. Look out for those that you love.